What's up, guys? Brian Sticker Fitness here. Today I haven't made a video in about it's been 6 days, and it's been a crazy day. So it's 11:54, and decided to go out here and make a video. So I try to not worry about, not get upset about my hands getting frostbit, so I can just make this video. But put my hat back on this way. And let's get into the video today. So, on my channel, I've never talked about fastest ways to lose fat and all the optional choices, how many ways there are to lose fat. So, jeez, sorry, my brother was just going pyro. He was setting the house on fire. So, I think it'd be best right now to get the video down to you guys right now. So, as I was talking about, I'm gonna make this video. I haven't done this video. I was thinking about it. I scratched that idea. I did another video, I think genetics. I did my story video, my journey. I did many other videos, but I've never done the fastest way to lose fat. So the first way is simply eating healthy by cutting out the degenerative non-nutrients. Avoiding malnourishment is where you have to rely on supplementations for everything, and that is getting really bad, as I mentioned. My one video, because you have so many micronutrients that you're not getting enough macronutrients when you're usually using a lot of supplementations. When you're using things like Slim Fast, things like Slim Fast, it's basically just things like whey protein powder, soy protein powder. You're thinking about all these things, including arginine and citrulline and let, but they're really good benefits. Arginine, including that it can decrease inflammations and decrease migraines, and citrulline maleate is that it can increase muscle tone, it can increase vascularity, your basal metabolic rate, and at the same time, as long as muscle tone, it can increase hypertrophy with this. So again, good benefits. Those are the two supplementations that I recommend to you. Many people use them because, again, that they're amazing. And when you really think about whey protein powder, it's just dextrose monohydrate, sugar, in the simplest carbohydrate form. You're getting nothing but dextrose monohydrate, as I talk about in this. And what is this dextrose monohydrate going to be doing? Well, we know that when we have a high blood glucose level, we have high blood sugar. When we have a low blood glucose level, we have low blood sugar. And when the hormone insulin, the hormone glucagon, when they cannot regulate your blood glucose level, this usually leads to low blood sugar. When you have a low blood glucose level, or high blood sugar, when you have a high blood glucose level, and hypoglycemia to hyperglycemia, when I'll explain this again, as I mentioned, with insulin and glucagon, those hormones. It's very important. Now take for note that it's very important, and that if your blood glucose level is too low, then guess what? It cannot be regulated. If it's too high, it cannot be regulated. If it's constant, if it's not really elevating, it's not going down, it's just staying constant, then it can be regulated by the hormone insulin and glucagon, and it can prevent things like insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance. Is when, of course, the hormone insulin cannot regulate your blood glucose level, leading to, again, high to low blood sugar, as I mentioned. And I mentioned this in quite a bit of my videos, and just get this down, guys, right now. And when you're constantly, you're going to have a carbohydrate intake that it's way too much. It's corrupted, as I would say. And the thing about this is that people with bad metabolisms, they have low metabolisms, okay? And the thing about this is that you see all those gay people with high basal metabolic rates. And the thing about this is that they eat the empty calories, and guess what they do with the empty calories? They burn those calories off again, but just to save themselves, so they do not gain in fat, do not gain in body composition body mass index, so you can really regulate that by basically using their metabolism as a weapon, and by building their metabolism. Empty calories, just calories that are empty, that have no nutritional value. This is really, you can't escape the diseases that are going to be coming to you. You can't escape cardiovascular disease. You can't escape premature death, dying at any age that you really don't know. And these foods that are high in cholesterol, these foods that are high in fats, polyunsaturated fats, foods that are high in carbohydrates, it's really going to just be increasing your chance of being a pre-diabetic, of having diabetes, of having low to high blood sugar, hypoglycemia, cardiovascular diseases, so much cholesterol, which leads to LDL, which is bad cholesterol, and HDL, which is high density lipoprotein, and LDL is low density lipoprotein, which you know, and HDL is good cholesterol. But the thing is, it's going to lead to, arteries, and it's, as I'm going to talk about, foods that are high in generative non-nutrients, foods that are high in saturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, it's not going to only be affecting your liver. It's not going to be affecting the cholesterol by adding so much unnatural cholesterol, unneeded cholesterol that your liver does not need, because it makes the natural cholesterol, and they're adding all this unnatural cholesterol in, which is really going to be affecting your chance of premature death, of bad liver function, of liver failure, liver cancer. And along with this, all that cholesterol is going to also be leading to narrowed arteries. It's going to be leading to cholesterol spikes. It's going to be leading to LDL, bad cholesterol. It's going to be leading to all these things. And with the heart is that we confuse it a lot. Is that we think that the liver is the only thing affected, but not really, because our heart, having a healthy heart, having not an obese heart, it's really critical to prevent things like cardiovascular diseases, of dying of cardiovascular disease. When the blood vessels, they cut off the circulation to the muscles, they cannot give the oxygen to the muscles, and then when they do that, they really fail. And as you can see, many overweight people, again, they have no circulation going on with blood vessels, and the muscles, they're just going to be packed on with body composition. They're going to have so much body composition, and the muscles aren't going to be visible, and the muscles aren't going to be supplied oxygen. And that's the main thing, no muscle growth. And the thing that you're usually witnessing is that you have no vascularity when you have a high body composition. You have no vascularity. You have a low metabolism. You're usually malnourished. You usually rely on supplementations for anything, and you're not getting the nutrients that you need. You're not getting the micronutrients, macronutrients, microminerals that you need. And as I talk about this, I'm sitting here with a blanket on my lap, and I've been going on for this for about a long time, and it's going to be affecting liver. So your liver, okay, it regulates cholesterol. Your heart regulates the blood vessels, and if your heart cannot regulate the blood vessels, guess what? You're going to have a chance of cardiovascular diseases, dying of strokes, heart attacks. When the polyunsaturated fats, these foods high in fat, these foods high in lipids, and cholesterol, it's going to be affecting both your heart and your liver. It's not just your liver. We can be close-minded, but we cannot deny the fact that it's not just going to be your liver affected. It's going to be your heart affected, because we have to understand our body and what it needs. As we put in these saturated fats, foods high in saturated fats, cholesterol, degenerative non-nutrients in, we're going to have more of a chance of cardiovascular diseases, of dying of cardiovascular disease, premature death at any age that you do not know of. So keeping your heart and your liver in really good condition is critical, again, for you living, for how long you can live, dying of premature death, whether you witness it, whether you get it, actually, and LDL, bad cholesterol, high cholesterol, even at that, narrowed arteries, strokes. It's going to be all so of that stuff that we're talking about. I really hope the mail comes today. Father sent money in the mail today, but the mail system up here is not too good. My hands are, they're freezing off a little bit, but I'm prepared to get this video out to you guys. And let's talk about the fastest way to lose fat. So again, with nutrition, making sure that avoiding malnourishment is going to avoid obesity, is going to avoid gaining in so much body composition. When you can't maintain your fat, you cannot maintain your height and weight. You cannot maintain your body mass index. And as we're talking about this, again, this is the first part. This is, I've been going on for 10 minutes, but this is again the first. Now we're talking about, my hands are freezing really bad right now. And okay, let's finish this off. So make sure that you're avoiding malnourishment. Stop eating these foods that are high in cholesterol, that are high in sugar, that are high in carbohydrates, that are high in dextrose monohydrate, that are high in corn syrup, that are high in high fructose corn syrup. Stop eating these things that are high in lipids, that are high in fats, that are high in cholesterol. Stop eating all those foods that are high in that thing. Make sure that avoiding malnourishment, getting good nutrition, and make sure that you have good catabolism. As I talk about, it's major the esophagus, getting the nutrients down, macronutrients, macrominerals, micronutrients, getting them down. I'm gonna stand up for a minute because I'm gonna preach this like I always do. It's making sure you're getting the macronutrients, micronutrients, macrominerals, getting the vitamins, getting the essential nutrients that you need, essential vitamins that you need, getting them down into the esophagus to get into the gastrointestinal tract to really prevent constipation, to experience no muscle growth at all. And again, when we talk about constipation, inflammation, and bloating, the thing about this is that when we have so many saturated fats, so many polyunsaturated fats, so many foods that are basically just dense, like protein, even protein dense, yeah, all these foods is going to prevent the nutrients from being delivered correctly down to your gastrointestinal tract, and that again in return goes to your colon. And after that happens, catabolism, as I said, and this is really critical. And when you usually have constipation, bloating, inflammation, there's going to be no energy delivered because the energy is stuck at the catabolism. The energy is stuck at the catabolic breakdown, and we do not want the energy to be stuck at the catabolic breakdown. And as I mentioned, the food, the nutrients, they release the energy. They release the energy in catabolism, catabolic breakdowns. Anything that happens in anabolism that I preach every day on my channel, that happens in anabolism. The thing about that is that when the energy is released from the food, guess what? Your metabolism needs to require it to, again, it needs to make the offspring of the metabolism, which is, again, the metabolites which aid in the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fibers, and going along with the whole process of biosynthesis. Make sure that your food releases energy so you can require energy to build upon vascularity, your basal metabolic rate, to build upon muscle tone, to build hypertrophy, muscular growth, and to avoid atrophy, which is losing muscle mass. So as we get into this, they need energy. Your basal metabolic rate needs energy to make metabolites, which again they aid in the growth, reproduction, development of muscle fibers to get from simple to complex, and along with the energy, in return, after it goes in a process. As I mentioned, go through this whole video, hear me out, make sure that you're hearing me out, good guys. Okay, and then after this is that all these things they require energy. Your muscle fibers require energy to grow. Metabolites require energy to grow. Your blood vessels require energy to making sure that you correct that oxygen is delivered to your muscles by the blood vessels. The thing about this is that if they do not require this energy, your blood vessels cannot supply the oxygen that is needed for your muscles. And even getting into the subject of occlusion is that when there's no circulation. And the thing about this is that many people confuse it, I think. I mean, I really haven't heard from anybody. But the thing about occlusion, you can go two ways with this. Basically, maxing out reps, maxing out your work ethic, making sure that you're going really hard to a point that your muscles cannot catch up, and you're going to be making sure that your muscle fibers again expand so you can reach a state of hypertrophy, muscular growth. And the thing that when we're talking about occlusion, and this point is that when we're talking about occlusion, it's about when the circulation, the blood vessels, occlusion is when the blood vessels the blood vessels are cut off, okay? So the thing about this is that they cannot deliver any more oxygen to the muscles because again, it's working with the nutrients. Your muscles are working with the nutrients to reach muscle development. Again, occlusion is something major, making sure that you're really about to give up, and making sure that you do not give up. I'm gonna end this video right here, guys, and bye guys, bye, second finish out.